Welcome to the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees. We want to note that this meeting is being broadcast on the NUSD YouTube channel at the direction of the board. The broadcast may capture images and sounds from those attending the meeting. If you would like to make a public comment on any item on agenda or not on agenda, please see staff at the side table. I'd also like to note that the board will be closing tonight's meeting in honor of Alan Harris, who recently passed away. Al served on the NUSD governing board from 1985 to 1997. He also served on multiple NUSD committees over the span of decades, including the Parcel Tax Oversight Committee, the Independent Citizens Bond Oversight Committee, the District Budget Advisory Committee, the Blue Ribbon Committee, and many more. He was a strong advocate for our parcel tax, supporting and participating in the independent campaign committees over the years. We are grateful for his service to the students of Novato and respectfully honor him in this way. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Trustee Novato will now report out on closed session.
Good evening. The board met in closed session on the following items. Conference with legal counsel, settlement of pending litigation. On November 18, 2025, a majority of the board in closed session voted to approve a settlement agreement with the parent/guardian of student reference number 2025-26-2003, who asserted special education claims against the district. The board approved reimbursement for services in exchange for release and waiver of claim against the district. Trustee Pickus made a motion to approve the settlement agreement stated above. Trustee Alexander seconded the motion.
This will be a roll call vote. Trustee Alexander?
Aye.
Trustee Butler is absent. Trustee Gasson?
Aye.
Trustee Jacobson, aye. Trustee Lametta?
Aye.
Trustee Mack?
Aye.
Trustee Pickus?
Aye.
Thank you.
Conference with legal counsel, settlement of pending litigation. On November 18, 2025, a majority of the board in closed session voted to approve a settlement agreement with the parent guardian of student reference number 2025-26-2005. The student reference number 2025-26-2004, who asserted special education claims against the district. The board approved reimbursement for services in exchange for releases and waiver of claim against the district. Trustee Mack made a motion to approve the settlement agreement stated above. Trustee Pickus seconded the motion.
This will also be a roll call vote. Trustee Alexander?
Aye.
Trustee Butler is absent. Trustee Gasson?
Aye.
Trustee Jacobson, aye. Trustee Lametta?
Aye.
Trustee Mack?
Aye.
Trustee Pickus?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, public employee discipline dismissal release, information only. Conference with labor negotiators Joshua Braff, Chief Financial Officer, and Francesca Whitcomb, Executive Director, Human Resources, an employees organization, Novato Federation of Teachers, NFT, information only. Conference with labor negotiators Joshua Braff, Chief Financial Officer, and Francesca Whitcomb, Executive Director, Human Resources, an employees organization, California School Employee Association, CSEA, information only.
Next item is the approval of the agenda. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve tonight's agenda? Trustee Alexander, thank you. Any second? Trustee Lametta, wonderful. All in favor? 6 plus our student trustees, thank you. Next is approval of consent agenda. Would anyone like to make a motion or have any items they'd like to pull?
Can I just, well, I'd like to just make a comment about one item, so not necessarily pull it.
Okay.
So however you'd like to do that.
Why don't you make the comment now, and if any other items need to be pulled, and then we'll ask for a motion.
Okay, so I just wanted to acknowledge and share appreciation for the grant that we received from Marin County, Marin Community Foundation.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Any items that anyone would like to pull aside from that from consent? Seeing none, would someone like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as is? Trustee Pickus, thank you. Second. Trustee Gasson, sorry. All in favor? 6, none opposed, plus our student trustees. Wonderful. Next up, announcements.
Hi everyone, how are you doing? It feels like it's been a few weeks since we've seen each other. Samarin has been pretty busy. The Owls Opportunity for Women in Leadership and Service Club hosted a Women in STEM panel at lunch today featuring 3 Samarin students, staff, and teachers. National Honor Society continues in its 2nd year, and they will be going after academic scholarships this year for its members. Winter Wonderland Spirit Week is December 1st through 5th, and we have a rally day on December 5th. ASB presidents meet with Principal Boone to discuss the senior parking lot and how to make it safer for students. There will be an increased signage telling parents that it is not a student loading area. Winter is here, and ASB and the Wellness Hub have teamed up for a weekly hot chocolate pop-up tables. We've hosted 2 so far, and they're doing very well. Prom is on May 16th at the Regency Ballroom on Van Ness. It's a concert venue that matches the Great Gatsby theme. We are confirming the catering order. ASB is learning a lot about how to read and understand contracts. Other news is that we had a food drive at Samarin. There were pickup stations at Trailhead, our PAC, the STEM building, the main office. I do not have the exact number of how much we collected, but I was there to count it all, and we got hundreds of food donations, which we're really grateful for. We wanted to do something for the community since the SNAP benefits went away for a little bit. And we're very happy with its outcome and thankful for our community. Visual and performing arts updates. The Samarin Music celebrates the tremendous success of our recent musical production of White Christmas with captivated audiences over 6 fantastic performances. The energy and talent displayed by our cast, pit musicians, and tech students was nothing short of extraordinary, showcasing their dedication and hard work, the hallmark of Samarin music. Our free preview night for middle school students is from Sinaloa San Jose Middle School, and Novato Charter was a success, providing an engaging and enjoyable experience for all. This was the most attended fall musical that we have ever seen. There's a lot for athletics. We want to congratulate all of our fall teams on this incredible season, 2 of which are still going. Boys water polo won their first ever NCS pennant in school history on Saturday and continuing their run for NorCals and state as we speak. They are at Turlock High School and the first round of CIF NorCals. Cross country is sending 12 runners to NCS this Saturday at Hayward High School. Football concluded their season last Friday at Cardinal Newman, where they took the Cardinals to double overtime in a hard-fought battle, and we couldn't be prouder of the boys for leaving it all out like that. Girls golf had their winningest season in Coach Bob Lacey's tenure, clinching spots in both the MCALs and NCS playoffs. Spots. Flag football earned NCAL's champions, and our very own Olivia Van Dis was named MCAL Player of the Year. Girls tennis had an amazing season as a team, clinching spots in both NCALs and NCS playoffs. Our very own Devanshi I cannot speak today. I apologize. It's been a Tuesday. Was named MCAL Player of the Year and is playing in today's at NCS individuals. Girl volleyball has a remarkable season, finishing 2nd in NCS and earning a spot in CIF NorCal playoffs. Girls water polo earned a seat in D1 NCS playoffs after a strong 18-6 season. Winter sports are underway, and we can't wait to see our teams continue and succeed. Go Mustangs.
Oh, hey. Good job, Samarin. A couple past events that we've had at Novato. We had Halloween, and we had a costume contest at lunch. A lot of people participated in that, which we really, really loved. We celebrated Dia de los Muertos with an ofrenda in the library. The senior class just wrapped up their upper crust pie fundraiser. Pies will be distributed tomorrow. I don't know if Jonathan sold any to you guys, but if he did, you'll get those tomorrow at some point. Safe and Sober Grad had a bake sale on Sunday, November 9th at Peony Hardware from 9 to 3. PTSA/photography, they held mini photo sessions. We recently just had our Hornet Bowl, November 10th, which is like our version of Powder Puff. The girls' class of 26 and the class of 27 went against each other, and the class of 2026 won. It was under the lights, and we had rented lights there, so yeah. We also had an art exhibit, and it was called The Familiar and Unfamiliar, held at our Center for the Arts on November 4th at 5 p.m. This included a collaborative show between drawing and painting and sculpture and ceramics. Our MSA tours have begun, which is really exciting for us all. And we recently have done a food drive for families who use the SNAP benefits, and it went really well as well. A couple of upcoming events that we have: Little Shop of Horrors, our fall musical. It opens this Friday, and there are 4 shows this weekend. I highly encourage you all to go. It's really entertaining, I promise. Winter Gram sales start December 1st, and they go till the 8th. December 2nd is our Safe Grad meeting from 7 to 8. Sacramento Jazz Festival is happening on December 6th, which contemporary choir and instrumental music will be attending. December 8th is our annual Stress Less Spirit Week. And also December 8th is our Sports Boosters meeting at 6 to 7. And December 11th, we have our staff versus student indoor soccer game at lunch. And we have a couple winter concerts coming up. The instrumental concert is December 11th, and the vocal music concert is December 12th. So hopefully we see your guys' faces there. Thank you.
Hello. Recently at Marin Oaks, we had our flash mob on Halloween at local places such as the district office, Target, Dr. Insomniacs, and Olive Elementary School. Tomorrow we will have an assembly for Thousands Degrees for students to learn how to manage their money better, and we would love for you to come. We also have a gratitude lunch for Thanksgiving coming up, and the students are ready for a Thanksgiving break. So.
Thank you. I really want to appreciate each and every one of you and the work that you have helped to galvanize in your schools on behalf of our community with the food drives. It's such an important time and such beautiful recognition of the power of community. So thank you for doing that. I know different schools in the district have really supported our community around food insecurity to help ensure that people could get what they needed. So thank you so much for contributing to that effort. Nothing else to report right now.
Good evening, everyone. Just a quick shout out to all the parent-teacher conferences that are happening this week. Really want to encourage all parents to make sure that you go and have conversations. It's really helpful to understand, have conversations with the teacher, figure out what your kid needs and how we can best support them and what they're doing well. And also just appreciation to all of our teachers and staff who are, changing things up for the week. It takes a lot of extra time, and just a change in the routine, which is an extra lift. So just appreciation to our staff.
Thank you for that reminder. It's been a while, but I remember that whole week before Thanksgiving and the fun parent-teacher meetings that we had in the break and everything. So a lot going on. The biggest thing that I'm most excited about is JLAC and getting that really moving forward. So I did take the information that you guys had given me. So I appreciate that help. And I highlighted the elements more surrounding funding, but then we also included topics like AI that was also discussed at the table here. But a couple of things that have surfaced during our conversations were around the compliance reporting. And so even though it's not going to be one of our top 3 that we'll probably come up with and develop for our February event when we go to Sacramento, we are talking about the pieces that we can maybe manage and get information around. And so my partner, or the co-chair, Kimberly, is been in touch with Marin County Office of Ed's Legal and has already tackled AB 2534, which was recent legislation that passed. And outlining some of the challenges around how it was written and making recommendations. So I'm excited that there's tangible things that we can do. That's just a matter of how things are worded. There's also legislative talking points that they do, and I'm going to loop back probably with Trustee Jacobson and I would never call you golly, just to highlight some of the things that are coming down so that maybe we can adopt them. They do that at Reed, and then I was working through my work with San Francisco Unified School District. They also, so it seems to be something that districts do that I don't know if we ever have done them, but I thought it might be nice, just the thing, how things are impacting our specific district and our positions on them. So I think that'll be interesting if we can do that as well. I attended White Christmas. It was fun. I just want to say for the community, it's great opportunity for kids because kids from Novato High School are able to participate as well. It's just a joint collaboration between the school sites, a lot of volunteer hours and a lot of hard work. And I really like the opportunity for kids. Also, Sinaloa, enjoyed going on a site visit there, getting to see the classrooms and all the great work on the grounds. It's so nice. And walking into the special education classes in particular and meeting the teachers and seeing the unique opportunities and how they set up based on the needs of our students. So that went really well. Oak Hill tour was last Friday. I know several of us have done that now. It was great, amazing spot. So that was pretty cool to look at where the workforce housing is planned to go. I'm also part of, and I've mentioned this before, League of Women Voters, the Marin County section. We had John Carroll from Marin County Office of Ed come and speak about the history of education, but also the concerns in the community about what's happening right now. And there is a large drive from League of Women Voters to support and advocate and do whatever they can to help our schools. So that was really nice to see. CAPTA, California Parent Teachers Association, has a reflections program that has art. And there was an event hosted here for the winners of the submissions. So that was fun to see. And then all of this wonderful artwork that we have now continually. You've got to come down to the district office and see it if anybody's watching. It's just super, super cool. And then the District Special Education Advisory Committee meeting was last week. They discussed SELPA versus when to call the district office and when to go through SELPA on different topics, and then also presented on executive function skills. So that was very helpful. And that's it.
Two things. Attended the budget presentation last night at Novato High Sports Boosters. Want to shout out to Josh for doing a great job. It's a crowd that obviously has concerns and did a great job of getting them up to speed, and actually they sound like true believers now. They want to help. They want to do everything they can for the parcel tax, so that's wonderful. Also, like Diane, I did attend the Oak Hill tour, and it is a very nice spot. I really look forward to, in 2027, some of our teachers having the opportunity to live there. It's a nice spot and a reverse commute. So I really hope that, granted, we're putting up our own housing, but hopefully that some of our teachers have the opportunity to use that housing even sooner. So, good stuff.
Good evening. I also attended the Oak Hill site visit with Derek and Trustee Mack. That was really fun. I also attended my JLAC and DLAC meetings, and really excited for Thanksgiving. That's it.
I had the pleasure of joining the Youth Leadership Novato group. They came here to the district office, and we talked with them about all kinds of things. We have some amazing leaders in our young community right now. I went to a couple meetings around our workforce housing, as well as visited Oak Hill. I went to Modeling the Way, where we got to honor teachers and staff members. And I want to share that School Fuel, they have given out 400 and $400,000 worth of grants in our community. And that grant process is now closed for this year, but you can apply next year, and they support so many things around our community. And as Trustee Gasson said, the art here in the district office is so fantastic. Right now we have art from Novato High, and it's really, really amazing to have here. So thank you for loaning that to us.
All right, good evening, everybody. So nice to see you all. I got really distracted when we had our white coats come into, but I still going to make my comments, and then we'll get to you guys. This is exciting. Last time we had a public comment, it was a Novato High sports booster parent, and she invited us to come to the senior day, and a couple of us took her up on the invitation. So we were at the senior football day, and both senior days at San Marin and senior day at Novato High, there are a lot of kids that are seniors on our teams. So that will be interesting to see how the teams grow from there with their exodus next year. I went to the classrooms at Sinaloa, a few of them, and it was fabulous. We got to see, they've started having dance as an elective, and so we got to go into that classroom. It was very exciting. We've done lots of listening sessions with staff and budget roadshows. Josh and we have one more left at Sinaloa, and that'll be about 18, 19 we've done so far. Yeah. And then I got to go to White Christmas. I got to see Elf Jr. at San Jose, and I'm really looking forward to Little Shop of Horrors on Friday. It's kind of my favorite season, all the shows. And then Magali and I both attended DLAC last Thursday. It was very well attended, especially from Hamilton. They won the prize with the most participants. And then I got to meet with my student advisory group last Thursday. Dr. Senior joined me, and we talked about academic honesty policy, and AI. So we had a lot to share, right? Yes. And good stuff comes from that, right? And we're going to keep those conversations going. And then our team also joined Leadership Novato, not the youth leadership, but the big people leadership at San Marin High School last week. A couple of shout outs. Francesca and I went around, and we were able to honor staff who have reached permanent status. So look for us on social media at some point. You can see how many? 28 teachers who have now, are certificated staff members who've reached that level. And then what's coming up, we have our Parcel Tax Exploratory Committee meets tomorrow from 4 to 5 here in this room, in these chairs. And then the Novato High School has their fresh incoming family preview night this Thursday. What time? 6 o'clock. Great. And then also shout out to the staff for their elementary conferences this week. Those are big lifts. Lots of preparation goes into the scheduling, preparing student work to share with families. And we really do have a remarkable turnout for families. So we know that there's a deep connection and partnership there. And then finally, just wishing everybody a happy holiday week next week. Just reminder, there's no school. And for many people, no work. And we will be back on Monday, December 1st.
Great. Okay, today we have Novato High School presenting, and it looks like we have a lot of students here, which is so exciting.
Every 20 minutes. It's a new feature. So I get to come up here every 20 minutes. Oh, no. It goes to sleep every 20 minutes. You absolutely are ready. Do you want me to put the PowerPoint up? Yeah. Yep. Thank you. Of course.
As we're getting set up, First of all, thank you, trustees, for allowing us to shine a light on our wonderful medical career pathways, a specialized program at Novato High School under the direction of Dr. Siddiqui and in partnership with College of Marin. The students will tell you a lot more about that. I just wanted to remind you that MCP is a single discipline pathway at Novato High School, unlike MSA, which is a multiple discipline pathway. And the students are going to tell you what we can do with one single period a year throughout their time, especially with such a dedicated and loving teacher as Dr. Siddiqui.
We do have a few slides for you, but we are actually going to ignore the slides. And the reason we're going to ignore the slides is because we actually want you guys to be able to focus on our phenomenal kids. And our kids are going to be able to take the stage here and shine in doing a simulation. We're going to ask for a wonderful volunteer for that. And I'm going to pass it over to Dr. Alma Siddiqui.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I just want to highlight here our partnership, which is really very strong. And education is at its best when we join our hands with the industry, and that's what exactly we are doing right now. We have some great partnership with Buck Institute for Research on Aging throughout the year. They send us scientists and they share the cutting edge research. We also have partnership with Voltogenics. And we also have partnership with Kaiser Permanente. And students are just learning so much through those partnerships. I am grateful to our Rotary partners as well and School Fuel for funding us. So thank you so much for helping us throughout. Now it's time for the students, yeah.
Hi, my name is Ailam and I'm a freshman. This is my first year in MCP. I like MCP because we do a lot of hand-on learning, and I really like it because we can actually use this in the future if we get a job in the medical career pathway. I'm also part of MSA dance and a concert band.
Hi, my name is Jesus. I'm a freshman at Novato High, and I'm a first year in MCP. The thing I really like about this program is the connections and the skills it has taught me. It gives me connections in the healthcare industry and teaches me real life skills like CPR and how to apply splints. I also play soccer at Novato High, and
Hi, my name is Gemma. I am a sophomore at Novato High. This is my first year in the MCP program. I am in both the Intro to Medical Career Pathways and the Medical Terminology class. Something I like about MCP is that it teaches you a lot of skills that I think that are very useful to know, and it helps a lot to know the skills, and I like the class and the teacher, and all the stuff that we learn is very useful. Something besides MCP that I'm in, I'm a cheerleader. I'm on the JV team. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Cassandra. I'm a junior at Novato High School. I'm in MSA. I do jazz band, and then I also do sports. I do volleyball and wrestling. I really enjoy the MCP program because I really like how we do hands-on work because that really helps me learn. I also enjoy that we do a lot of networking with professionals in the healthcare system, and overall, MCP has helped me explore my options in the medical field.
Hi, my name is Mira. I'm a junior at Novato High School, and this is my third year in MCP. Not only does this program help me network with healthcare professionals and help me learn more hands-on basic aid, I also get to work in the medical field through an internship that I previously got during the springtime. As the spring progressed into summer, they offered me a job in the medical field as an optical assistant, which is awesome. So not only am I in this program to get a career in medicine, I have a career in medicine now.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Oliver. I'm a junior at I'm a junior MC Medical Careers Pathway, and I've been on here since freshman year. And something that I value is that everything we do is like real life experience. As health buddies, we volunteer at Hamilton's nurse's office, and we have taken the time to go inside classrooms and like teach blood pressure, CPR, and pulse. And this gives like a chance for upcoming students to see if this is like an opportunity they're willing to take, or if it's something they're interested in doing in the future. NCP, MCP, you know, it has given us like, allows us to build really like real skills, you know, from learning from keynote speakers. And other than MCP, I'm involved around the community with SWAP, Youth Transforming Justice, in the advisory committee, you know, all that stuff. It's really fun.
Hi, my name is Lila Allen, and I'm a junior at Novato High. I've been in the medical careers pathway since my freshman year, so this is my 3rd year. I have learned so much in MCP and get to learn skills that I wouldn't have learned until further on in my life. And I get to apply those skills, and I'm really feel lucky for this opportunity. Along with MCP, I'm the president of Kits of Care Club at Novato High, where we're building hygiene kits for the homeless and donating them.
Hi, my name is Trinidad, and I'm a senior at Novato High. My favorite thing about NCP is that we get to have a lot of guest speakers who talk about their career and what they have done to get there and how many people they have helped. And I'm also very thankful with Miss Iriki because being a senior, she still accepted me into the program, so thank you.
Hi, my name is Natalie. I'm a senior here at Novato High School. This is my 4th year here at MCP. Currently, I'm in the EMT program that's offered through our school. And recently, we partnered with an organization to go to Panama on a medical trip.
I have to come closer. I'm Ryan. I'm a 4th year MCP student. I'm a senior, obviously. My favorite thing about MCP is utilizing the opportunities it gives us. Like Natalie, I went to Panama for 8 days and worked there to help in the clinics there and start them actually in schools. I also love learning the hands-on skills that you wouldn't learn anywhere else. Most 18-year-olds don't get to be EMTs like that through school. So I think it's really a great program. Okay, so we're going to transition now to our scenario with our volunteer. Come on up. Now our patient here has been unfortunately hit by a car, so she's going to come lay on down. Flip this. She's going to actually turn around. Now we don't have the time to do a full scenario, but we're going to do a few key points. We're going to take vitals. We're going to get blood pressure and pulse going. And she also has a broken femur. So we're going to do a vacuum splint to make sure that's not moving around too much to immobilize it for the transport.
So what I'm doing is I'm going to immobilize her leg. So during transportation, we don't get further injuries, correct?
Trinidad is taking blood pressure. It's important to monitor vitals throughout the whole entire time you're on call. Anything could happen within those minutes that you're with them. Vein could have popped or something else could have happened, and you need to make sure that it's not only the leg that's injured.
We take vitals every 15 minutes for a non-trauma call. For a trauma, usually about every 5 minutes. So he's using a vacuum that takes the air out of the splint, which makes it contract and tighten up the injury.
so add the leg.
We check pulse on both ankles just to make sure that we have an equal strength on each pulse, so we know that one's not, we're going to have blood flow to the ankle that is being splinted. Go get one, Natalie, go. Get the bottom. So this is a scoop stretcher. We use this for patients that we don't want to put onto a normal backboard. It's easier to get them off the ground using a scoop stretcher. So they're doing a quick log roll technique, which gets them on to the stretcher.
And we're following the head's orders, so you get that countdown?
3, 2, 1.
Make sure it's tight. And that's how you transport a patient there. Let's get her into the ambulance.
Yeah.
Let's hear it for the patient people.
While I want to be sure that the trustees have the opportunity to ask the students questions, but I also want to remind you that in one class per year, which is normally an elective space, freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior can work in as a team to actually save lives. So I want to make that really clear. And in this graph here, you can see what the course sequence is. In yellow are the high school classes taught by Dr. Siddiqui, and in the orange, orange-ish, are the classes that are taught by College of Marin professors on the Novato High campus. And as you can see in their junior year, Dr. Siddiqui works with them for one semester, and she actually stays with them, so she wraps around supports to be sure that their first experience with a college class is successful, and that highly increases the success rate of the students in their first college class. But please, these are the stars of the show here, and if you had any questions for them, I'm sure they're happy to answer.
Yeah, just a question about this here. So the classes that are in orange, is that a separate class period? So there are 2 class periods and one is just taught by a College of Marin professor, or are they looped into the same period?
It's dual enrollment, the same period.
Okay. Wow. And so
Those 2 boxes indicate fall and spring.
Got it. Okay. And so, Doctor, you are teaching 4 different levels of students in the same class period? 3 different levels. Oh, because the seniors are got it. Okay. Wow. That's amazing.
I also want to note that though it says freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, as the students gave you an example of when they introduced themselves, all of our specialized programs have the feature of flexibility. And so sometimes kids don't know that they want to do this until they see their peers do it, and then they want to join. So Trinity is an example of a student who started her senior year and was able to take 2 classes her senior year. And I believe, Gemma, you are in your first year with MCP, but you're taking 2 classes. So she's taking both the Introduction to Medical Careers, very hands-on, and the medical terminology because she has room in her schedule for those 2 classes. A feature of everything we do at Novato High is making sure that we meet kids where they're at and when they're ready for these things.
And we have Trinidad. She's in her senior year and she's taking 2 classes. So by the time she graduates from the high school, she's already an EMR. So
it's amazing.
So that's perfect, because my question was going to be, so when they complete the program and that they can double up if they didn't enter in at the first in your freshman year, then you walk out with a certificate, and then where can you continue on at College of Marin for, are there additional classes there that they can take after graduation?
Yeah, or you could go to college, like
Right. Okay. Wonderful.
In fact, the 2 main courses that you need to take for an AA in fire safety is the EMR class and the EMT class. So when they go, they've completed an early college experience, and if they decided to go to College of Marin, they literally have just like 1 more course that they need to take, and they'll be done with all the requirements for their AA. And then many of the other students, this will be our second year completing the EMT course sequence, but the first year of students had incredible outcomes. Some of them went directly into a career, some of them went to a 4-year college, some of them went into highly competitive nursing programs, and that type of outcome is what we're really excited about for the second class of seniors who will go through the sequence.
A couple questions. How many students are in the program? Or about how many? Because it seems like people can join their senior year or their junior year. Oh.
About 114. And again, so that is an equivalent of a 0.6 FTE, 3 classes for high school. But then we round out the program with the community college teachers who teach on our campus. So 114 kids.
Yeah, I'm interested to know, what do you guys want to do after? Like, this is such a really great experience. I wish, I'm currently in healthcare, and I wish they would have had this program when I was a student. But what are y'all interested in doing after in healthcare, if that's something that you want to continue to do?
I want to continue my, so I want to become a paramedic, and after I finish becoming an EMT, I can go straight into a paramedic program or continue working as an EMT, because I plan to get licensed in around June.
I want to become an obstetrician because I really love kids, and the idea of helping someone to bring a kid into the world is like good. I like it.
I'm not sure what I'd like to do yet. I'd like to be a doctor of some sort, though.
I'm also not sure what I would want to do, but I know it would be something medical related because I do enjoy helping people, and I think it's important that we still have those people in the future.
I'm still exploring my options.
I know that now, like starting for experience, I want to be a firefighter or like in the ambulance, but shooting for the stars goal would be anesthesiologist.
I would like to be a nurse when I grow up.
I would like to go to medical school and be a research or clinical doctor.
I'm also exploring my options right now. I'm not too sure, but I would love to maybe go into nursing.
Right now I have 3 options. Either a firefighter. If I don't get to be a firefighter, I can be a doctor. If I don't turn out to be a doctor, I can actually be a nurse.
And the seniors, you may also want to know, because we've just been onboarding them for their spring experience, which is pretty special. Do one of the seniors want to tell the trustees what you'll be doing for your clinicals in the spring?
So from what I've been told, or we've been told, is that we're gonna be actually working a 12-hour shift for our clinicals. We'll be in the ambulance, required at least 3 patient contacts, so we will have to, in real situations with real patients, real scenes, not simulations, we'll have to treat them, do assessments, transmit them to the hospital, and learn exactly firsthand what it is to be an EMT.
So would you be doing 12 hours on an ambulance ride along and 12 hours in an ER, working in both, just to assist with procedures, and we'll be learning a lot. And it's a really exciting experience.
Thank you guys so much. You're really an impressive group of students, and what a wonderful program. Okay, our next item is staff report 12A, Novato Unified School District Wellness Update. And just for the record, there were no non-agenda public comments this evening.
We'll explain what those are in a moment. It's not edible. Well, that was a really tough act to follow. We didn't bring students with us tonight, so. Good evening, my name's Anna McGee. Dr. Smith, Board of Trustees, students, representatives, we're here tonight to give you a wellness update that's primarily focused on the high school programs, especially since we just finished up an evaluation done by the Behavioral Health Student Services Act that funded the wellness hubs for the first few years. So I'm gonna go ahead and let the team introduce themselves. Byron wasn't able to make it tonight, but go ahead and get started. Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Suval. I'm an LCSW and I'm the Wellness Hub Specialist at Novato High.
Hello everyone, my name is Ezra Hernandez Perez. I'm the Certified Wellness Coach at Novato High School.
Hi, I'm Kaylee Keene. I'm an Associate Marriage and Family Therapist, and I am the Wellness Specialist at San Marin High School.
So just a little bit of an update on what's going on with wellness. So we're in year 3 with the wellness hubs at the high schools, year 2 at the middle schools. And our middle schools are a little bit different because they're staffed by our school counselors, and our wellness folks here staff the high schools. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. At the elementary sites, for the first time, I think ever, we have elementary school counselors that are dedicated to most sites, as well as a few certified wellness coaches. We are the first in the county to have a certified wellness coach job description, which is really exciting because that's a new state certification. It allows us to access, hopefully, some revenue streams coming forward. And we have 5 of them, Ezra being one of them, on our campuses. So that's a really exciting piece, something for Novato to be proud of. We also staff our wellness throughout all 13 schools with interns. And our staff, our school counselors, and our wellness folks supervise those interns as a part of their everyday work. So that helps expand our capacity and make sure that we can see more students. So that's also really exciting. And we're training the next workforce in the healthcare profession, as you saw, in the mental health wing. Funding-wise, the Behavioral Health Student Services Act, BHSSA, used to be MHSSA, just concluded, and part of that was an evaluation that we participated in, so we'll share a little bit of data from that. And also want to give a shout out to Healthy Novato Initiative, the Peter J. Haas and Ginny Family Fund. They also support wellness as well. And really our financial focus is the funding. Because we did lose some federal grants. And so really we're looking at funding and how to create that sustainability through the multi-payer fee schedule, lots of acronyms and words, special words here. So that's a piece that I'm primarily working on here at the district. Yeah.
So these are our current numbers for students who have come to visit the hub. And I'm proud to say that I feel like we're established. The prior 2 years that we were open, the first few days of schools were pretty lax. So I came in like, oh, it's gonna be chill, no worries. We were inundated the first few days of school. And what surprised me was that a lot of those students were freshmen. So we hadn't even gone into classrooms to introduce our program, and they had already heard from friends that we were there. So as you can see, if you look at the 25-26 school year for total student visits, it's 992 just through the end of October. And then we have unique student visits per month. And what unique student visits are is if a student were to come in one day for a brain break and the next day to meet with a therapist, we would only count them once for that month. So our unique student visits as well have gone up. We're averaging 220 unique student visits per month. And then brain breaks have gone up, and the check-in with the wellness specialists. Kaylee and I are on site every day to check in with students, whether that be for crisis or a panic attack or restorative conversations. So we're seeing more and more students, which is great. Oh, there you go.
So this is one of the slides from the evaluation. It really just shows the reach of the program. So in year 3, having reached thousands of students, staff, teachers, and parents in that universal tier 1 support, So this outside evaluator came in and provided a survey to staff and did some student interviews and student focus groups. And so this is the outcome of that evaluation, which was quite extensive. So we just took a few pieces of data to share with you. For tier 2 and 3, costs, so coordination of services team, which Kaylee and Sarah both lead at their high schools, really helps to coordinate all of the things that students may need that need a higher level of care to ensure there's accountability and that there's continued care for those students, rather than having kind of that water cooler conversation that often happens when we're trying to do things for students and we're super busy. And then also our registered behavior technicians, who are part of the BHSS grant, who are no longer with the program, but they had a reach with our TK through 8 students as well, seeing students for that social skills development.
So these numbers here represent our staff's perception of what happens in the Wellness Hub. They're pretty spot on. So we do a lot of behavioral support. That would be me and Sarah meeting one-on-one with students, or working with students to create plans for how to re-enter classrooms. Then we also do assessment and referral, and that would be us working with our community partners, Bay Area Community Resources at San Marin and North Marin Community Services at Novato High. We do a lot of case management, and that is sort of the cost system that Anna was referring to, but also me and Sarah individually, just making sure that students are moving through resources and utilizing resources appropriately, and then also coordinating those services that may happen off campus with their families. As Sarah was talking about earlier, we do a lot of crisis support, and then we might refer to off-campus counseling. And then there's some, and I think our staff are very accurate, there is less parent caregiver services and support that we're doing personally, but that's definitely also a part of our role. And then, some of them, 10%, 1 point, they didn't know what we were doing, but that's what schools are. So sometimes nobody knows what's going on, and I think that is also why we're needed.
So here with the staff findings, especially with my job, teachers know that maybe there's a student there that's having a rough time and they don't want to send them to the office, but instead send them to see me, check in how they're doing, just kind of a different form of disciplinary, if we can say, just checking in. Hey, are you all right? Can we help? Is there something that was a deeper underlying problem? And staff also know there's a lot of resources that we provide with our partners. So if they notice student this might need something, they always come to us. We always give that support to our students, and just ensuring that the wellness of our community is, all there.
All right, and so these were the findings for the impact on students. So I think as Kaylee and I mentioned, there's immediate mental health support on campus. We're there, Kaylee and I are there with our wellness support staff as well every day, and we're open all day. And so we're able to be there when students have a crisis or staff need help as well with students. Making mental health support normal, something that I'm most proud of is that at Novato High, we've really tried to target maybe more underserved populations who maybe in the past were a little resistant to getting mental health support, and now they're more open to it. So we've really targeted that. Low barrier to entry engagements are effective. So if a student comes in to use the care card or grab a cup of tea, and then a crisis arises, they're already used to being in the hub for maybe more low entry level things. So it just makes the process easier for them to talk, and they feel comfortable being in the hub. And then there's timely access to services, which has increased student engagement with learning. So if a student does have a crisis or there's something going on at home, we can get in there and do intervention quickly and preventative work as well, so that they can re-engage in their learning. And then reducing stigma and improving school climate through different activities. SWAP, we do Wellness Wednesdays every Wednesday. We have different campaigns and access events and trainings.
Yeah, so you have evidence of us doing Wellness Wednesdays right in front of you. Like I said, don't eat this. These are bath bombs, and they would surely make you feel quite strange if you ate them. But they might be relaxing in a bath, hopefully. That is the goal. But our students made them. and they had a lot of fun, and a lot of chaos ensued in the creation, so enjoy. So these are the recommendations that came out of all of those various surveys, and funnily enough, these recommendations are very in line with what our goals are for this year. So specifically at San Marin, I've been involved in professional development all of the years that I've been there, but we are always trying to increase these trainings and outreach to our teachers and our staff, especially as a new program. It's important that our teachers do feel clarity on what's happening within the hub, and try to get that 10% number down. And I'm sure that if you had checked the first year versus last year, that would have been a higher number. In that same vein, we're trying to continue to increase communication with our staff and school-wide so that people know about our services. As Sarah was mentioning, like our freshmen are even aware of it now, which is really help that wellness hubs now exist in the middle schools. Like, I think that was a big contributor to the first day starting off with a bang, everyone knowing who we are, vibe on campuses, across campuses. We are always hoping to increase staff overall, particularly our bilingual staff, and Esri and Byron are both, they both are bilingual. So this is very important to us that we're making sure that our services are available to all of our students on our campuses. And we always want to increase our range of services and resources, including like parenting classes and any way to like further draw families into that wellness bubble. Obviously, continuity of care from school to home is very, very important. Some next steps for us are to continue strengthening our cost processes. This is something San Marin's specifically working on. We've been trying to and like talking about how to include teachers and staff into those communications, and are currently we've asked for feedback from our staff on which accommodations work in the classroom settings, and for them to start being like very active participants in whatever interventions we're trying to implement. Make sure that those are appropriate for their classrooms, and if that varies per subject, et cetera, et cetera. We are also trying to develop strategies for parent engagement. This is separate, but like part of trainings that we've done at the beginning of the year with our tobacco use prevention and education, that's a big part of that. So always developing there. And then continuing to engage staff during professional developments, as I said, and staff meetings regarding wellness topics.
So we've got some pictures here of some of our partners at recent wellness fairs, as well as of our counselors, and a lot of the chalk art that students do just to raise awareness around campus and really reduce stigma. So we're open to any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you so much for everything you guys are doing. I can't imagine a time when we didn't have these here. And I know we fought for so hard to have you have the actual center and facility, and I'm so pleased to see how it's evolved. There were a couple of things that I know there's so much to cover, but I just wanted to highlight. One is that this helps students actually want to be at school, which I think is just, having you be there and all the services provided, the outcome is not only helping the kids, but actually keeping them engaged at our school or our campus, that they feel like they have a safe place to be. So that's really important, and I appreciate that. The other piece, and you actually mentioned it, and I think for people that maybe are not familiar with what happens at the high schools, it might have gotten missed, is you referenced wellness fairs and SWAP, but I'm not sure that the general community would know exactly what that means. And I know that my daughter has participated in SWAP and gained a lot through that. And I think that's another component that's really helpful. The kids' involvement and interest in supporting other students is another aspect of the benefit of what you guys have going on there. So I don't know if you want to share about that.
I have an anecdote about the first part. I forgot to share my anecdote earlier, which is about students coming to school. We have a student who that doesn't come to school very much, but she started coming to school because we've started this check-in, check-out process, and she comes and shares a bird fact with me every day when she gets on campus, and then she goes to class. But it's a very fun little ritual that we have, but it also encourages, like, she knows that she can come talk to me when she needs to, but to just be able to ground on campus before having to like enter the full day has been really helpful for her.
And SWAP stands for Student Wellness Ambassador Program, so it's open to all students on campus at Novato High. We're a club, and we run on Mondays and Tuesdays, and it's really for students. One of the MCP students, Oliver, is in SWAP, and he's been in SWAP for 3 years. It gives students an opportunity who really care about wellness, and so we do different activities every Wednesday, whether that be on suicide prevention, anti-bullying, different multicultural day, and its activity tobacco use prevention education is also what SWAP works on, and we have these different activities where students can engage this entire school population during lunch and learn facts and get some swag. And we also do go to different conferences. We do a lot. SWAP is great. Yeah.
So I see that you're doing a lot of like outreach and you're like present and you have wellness ambassadors, but I found it very interesting that freshmen have been coming to you. Did you guys share like your, like the wellness center and information during orientation, or is it just word of mouth, which you did mention that earlier, but just kind of interested in hearing more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we definitely are present on freshman orientation. We do 8th grade showing around the school night, which I think is tomorrow or something for you guys. Thursday. And then for every freshman health or ethnic studies class, which are the mandated classes that freshmen have to take, we do a freshman orientation. So we have the students come into the hub, we show them all the different services we have available, and then we try to make it fun too, so they know it's not just like a place of sorrow, but also a place of joy. But
the first few days of school, we hadn't gone into classrooms yet. That's why I was surprised. So it was word of mouth. It had to have been, right?
Yeah, and I think it really a tribute to the counselors who are holding it down at the middle schools and having the wellness hubs there, letting them know like, hey, this is going to be a continuing service for you. And again, like back to that continuity of care to make sure that is available to our middle school students means that they have so much more practice opening up and being willing to ask for help when they arrive as freshmen.
And we had a group of Hamilton students come and visit the hub, students that might need more support. And so we played games. That was toward the spring before they came as freshmen. So we're open for all schools to do that as well.
That's so awesome, just because people are just going to feel more and more comfortable throughout the years to be open, to seek the help, and making it like okay to, be like whatever they need, right? Like I love that ritual that you mentioned about your students. So thank you for creating a safe space and a warm place for people to go.
Actually flipping it to the other side, it's great that the freshmen are looking for it right away. It just goes to show what's going on with our kids are learning faster than we ever learned about mental health. I know that's in the case of our family as well. But the other side of it, the seniors, the ones who have been availing themselves of this kind of service, any strategies for how they, now they're out in the world, they don't have you anymore. Referrals, strategies for how they might take advantage of this kind of support in the outside real world.
I know for some of my seniors who I was concerned about at the end of last year, I made sure that they had, like I called their college campuses with them, and
that's where I'm going. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I made sure that they knew where the counseling offices were on their, like looking at literally at campus maps, and just creating a touchstone for them, like the same way the middle schools do for us. And then for the ones who weren't going to college or going to 4 years, well, the ones who are going to COM and stuff like that, they also have wellness centers there or wellness resources there. But the ones who are going into trades or going into the, working already, those ones, we have our community partners. So with North Moran Community Services, they can continue to utilize those services until they're 25. Yeah, 25 or 26. And so we'll make a connection there for them, or, just whatever vocation they're interested in. I try to find a contact for them in that field and make sure that they have a direction.
Right. I would just say, I think it goes without saying that when they get into that level, that things get even more ratcheted up, and it's more on the line, more anxiety, tension, and a whole lot going on.
And I think the brain break piece is really important because it allows a break. It allows someone to know that they can take a break, take a breather, and then they can return. And so learning that skill is a lifelong skill. And we have self-regulation tools that they can utilize. They've made like little care packages and things. So they're learning skills that they can take with them. So if I'm in the workplace or at college, I know like, oh, when I take a break and I just walk away and I, separate myself for a little while, I can reset and I can return, rather than like say being in a wellness hub all day or, being in the bathroom all day. As a counselor myself, there was several students who, were in the restroom, just trying to take a break, right? And didn't know how to return to class. So I think that's a really important piece of kind of the procedures and how wellness hubs work. They aren't a place where you can hang out all day.
Sorry, I have one more thing. I'm sorry, I'm such a chatterbox, but I wanted to give a shout out actually to Jake Ellery, who's one of our student board members, because his freshman year, he had the idea that students needed to have like career skills later in their high school experience. And so last year, one thing we piloted at San Marin was having our community, like our outside organizations, come in and do special topics during Access. So we had people come in and teach students how to like build a resume, how to start bank accounts, how to hopefully like get health insurance, and then talking about like specific topics that our hub, we call our SWAT program Hub Club, that our Hub Club students voted on. Yeah, but that was Jake's idea.
Thank you so much. This is so interesting to hear about all the things you're doing. And I have all these scribbles, so I don't know if this is all going to make sense coming out, but so much of what you're talking about is tied to so many other things that are happening in our schools. So there's the individual impact that this has on individual kids who come through your wellness centers. But I'm thinking about, we're going to have a conversation later this evening around budget reductions and sort of those larger conversations as a district that we're having. And one thing that you talked about was that you are taking something off the plate of the teachers who are running classrooms, because teachers with so many kids in their classrooms are trying to navigate so many things, and you really need specialized support to help students with these issues. And so your services are helping what's happening in the classroom as well. I'm thinking about the kid who wouldn't come to school unless you were a touch point for them, right? Attendance plays into our budget. And so even though I know this is not a budget conversation, those factors all play into what's happening. It's really a safety issue because we're making sure that students aren't harming, that they have other supports, and that students who need an outlet for frustrations aren't taking it out on their peers or on their communities. So it's really a safety conversation. I just feel like this is about so much more than individual support for wellness, and I just wanted to call out like what you're doing is having ripple effects in so many parts of our school, and that's also just sort of a comment for our community who is listening, that when we're talking about funding for our schools and funding for things like this, so much about schools is more than what is happening in a classroom, and that's all just really, really important work. So to you and your teams, thank you so much.
I just want to say I really appreciate the Wellness Hub program. When I, as a high schooler, when I attended San Marin in freshman year, I was in a really deep hole, and it was really tough for me at times, and I was really going through a lot. And I just want to shout out to Kaylee for helping me get out that hole and having me hear my problems and my always supporting me at the end of the day to be where I'm at today. So I want to say thank you.
I would also like to say thank you. My freshman year, we had a lot of, I had a lot of friends who were going through a very tough time towards the end of the school year. A lot of senior friends who graduated in 2024. And I know that the Wellness Hub was a very safe space for them, and I want to thank you because I don't know what would have happened other than that. So thank you for all of your hard work over the last few years. And to extend this program and to make this a thing, because it really has helped a lot of people, and I just want to say thank you for that.
Okay, I also wanted to say thank you. You guys are really looking at this not like about one student or one problem, but about a whole life and a whole community, and it's really appreciated. Thank you. Thank you guys for being here tonight.
And thank you for all of your support and positive energy. We really appreciate it.
Okay, our next item is 13A. This is the review and approve of Administrative Regulation Update 6000 Instructional Series, brought to us by Dr. Smith.
All right, I get an item. I like it. All right, so we have been discussing, or the board has directed staff to investigate some possibilities about updating specifically the flag section of our 6115 administrative regulation regarding ceremonies and observances. So when we look at I'm going to look at it here. The part where it says display of flag. The one recommended change to this policy is to take off what would have been the old policy had a 7 and an 8. So there were 7 circumstances in which you would lower the flag in honor or remembrance. And we researched this as a staff, checked with legal, and are bringing back this recommendation to consider taking off the 7 and the 8 that had to do with a governor or a presidential proclamation. We have found that having the proclamations has become a little problematic. The timing isn't right. We don't find out about it. Sometimes 1 through 6 happens, and then there's no proclamation, so we get kind of confused. We talked about this at our student advisory committee as well, in terms of how to improve the policy so that it's super, super clear. Like, we're looking for clarity. When do we lower the flag, and when can we leave it up, so to speak? Legally, we need to be following the flag code as much as possible, but there's no legal reprimand. We can't really get in trouble for not following all of these. We get to follow our own policy. We're not a federal building. And so we have some different regulations. So this would be an acceptable policy change. And the follow-up would be, if you approve this change, that we would now put our policy update on the website. So if there were any questions from the public about why the flag is lowered or not, there could be a reference there. And then we would be identifying an internal person. We believe it would be in the business office, who would be looking for, the death of a president or a former president, or the day of the death or the following day for a member of Congress, for example. So all of these examples would be something we would be researching kind of on the daily in the news, in the media, to be able to then now tell the sites, this is what we're doing. We're lowering the flag until such and such a date. And therefore we'll have a policy that makes sense to everybody.
Questions, comments? Trustee Gasson.
I first just want to acknowledge and say thank you for taking the input from the community, and from also, asking questions. And you said a couple things tonight that I was not aware of, and it changes my statement a little bit. I entirely agree on the direction we're going. When I was looking at this, I felt like we took the input. We maybe, as we looked at everything, went a little bit too far from my perspective with number 7. And I understand now maybe the word proclamation is the issue, but for me, the statement on 7 was specific to state officials and armed forces. And so I guess I'm thinking forward in a day that, hopefully Senator McGuire's not dying anytime soon, but that there's no place for, honoring him through a flag at half staff when we take everything out of here. So that's an observation I have, and a concern that my suggestion was going to be to leave 7, we could edit out the other elements, but if proclamation is the word that's being concerned, then maybe, I don't know how to address that, but my concern is that we're looking too much now at the federal level, and there's nothing with respect to the state of California.
You bring up a point that the students brought up as well, and we really erred on the side in this recommendation, erred on the side of clarity. And the list of members of the community who have passed away in service in California, like, who is telling us that which ones are the ones to honor? How do we know? And if there's not a proclamation, then it's very ambiguous, and it makes it very difficult. So that was the discussion, and that's why the recommendation was exactly what you're saying, to take the proclamation out. Take anything that had to do with the proclamation, because it's like somebody else is deciding for us, and it's not as clear cut as 1 through 6.
Right, but wouldn't that be, I mean, again, my point would be it's very specific. A former official of the state of government, I mean, if you even just took it off at that level. So, I mean, I understand. I don't know. I'm having again, I know, I understand where we're going with this, but I'm worried that, I mean, I have two thoughts here. One is just fundamentally, I think it's appropriate to follow the same for the state as we do for the federal government. If it's an elected official, you know, if it's a senator or a representative or what, I think we would be remiss by not, if the governor made a proclamation and we didn't do the flag, I don't think it reflects well. The other piece of it, which I'm willing to acknowledge is kind of then harder to track, when we have fallen firefighters or police officers and stuff as well. So, again, I don't know if we're able then to just say the same for the state of California. Or maybe I'm alone in this and there's no point in having a further conversation. I just don't want to have it, I just think it's important that we respect and honor the people that are serving us in those elected positions. And this seems to avoid state of California representatives.
So one of the things, just can I respond to that really quickly? One of the things that was brought up in our conversation with the students was thinking about, like, how can we depoliticize the flag and using it as a symbol and a responsibility for so many things, and to be thinking outside the flag box, and how else can we honor our individuals? How else, what are other ways that we can respect people who match our values and we feel deeply respected for their service? So that's
but see, that's the part that I'm having an issue with, is it's being politicized in some ways about you were either an elected congressperson or a senator, or you're not. It doesn't matter. And if there is and I don't even know if we've done this in California recently. I can't think. I don't follow that. But if a senator passes away, the governor says we should honor having the flag, and we don't, I think that's just, I think it won't be understood, and it's something that is just going a little bit too far and saying our rules are we're not doing the flag because the governor. So that's just my opinion.
I think I agree with the sentiment of what you're saying. I think the lowering of the flag is a way to honor people who have made positive contributions. I think the complexity comes when it becomes politicized, when certain people are chosen to be honored with a flag lowering and others are not. If a local elected official, like if Mr. McGuire, Senator McGuire, poor guy, sorry, right, but I don't, it is not brought to my attention when officials pass whether or not we actually lower our flag currently for them. So we're moving this. I don't know if this actually takes away something that we are already doing. I think it is just moving forward, clarifying what we would do. And I think that if we wanted to, as a district, honor these individuals, this could be something that we could talk about. Perhaps Dr. Smith sends something out, or I think there would be other ways to honor them. I'm not aware that that is something that we are already doing a lot of, and therefore removing these would then stop us from doing something that we're currently doing. Does that make sense? So I think it simplifies it, and in the age of the politicization of figures, political figureheads, I think that I think it just simplifies what we want to say with our flag lowering. Does that make sense? That's fine. Yeah, I hear the sentiment. I understand. I think the complexity. I think there's a lot there. So I appreciate the simplification of this.
Trustee Mack?
I completely agree. Understand what you're saying. I think we need to just keep this really clean and not expose ourselves to potential political involvement. As we saw recently, it can get politicized very quickly. There's a time in the 70s when the same kind of issues could have been said about the governor and the political preferences at that time relative to the school districts. But one thing I just want to clear, the very last sentence before the bullets, the national flag shall fly at half-staff on the following occasions. Can we clarify that is that at the district office only or at all sites?
Where are you looking?
The last sentence before number 1. Yeah, the national flag shall, should we just clarify at all sites?
I think it says in the first paragraph.
It does say at all sites. I'm just saying maybe just to further clarify, just at all sites. Just to make clear. Because I wasn't entirely clear if we're just talking about just
It
the district
says
office.
of every district school in the paragraph before it.
Yeah, it does. I'm just saying maybe in that sentence too. That's all. Just add a couple words. That's all. Anyway, I'm being anal. So if nobody else agrees, that's fine.
Can you say that on TV?
What's that?
Oh my God.
Anyway, if you guys think it's fine, that's fine.
I think it's fine. I'm hearing consensus there. Okay.
I'll move to approve.
Okay. Do we have a second? We can further discuss after if we want to. We have a first by Trustee Mack and a second by Trustee Alexander. Other discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor of this item as proposed? We have 5 plus 2 student trustees, all opposed. 1. Okay, thank you very much. Our next item, 13B, is brought to us by Joshua Braff. This is the discussion action approval of resolution number 8, 2025-2026, Novato Unified School District budget reduction and unrestricted fund balance stabilization.
Good evening, trustees. Yes, the resolution number 8, the school district budget reduction and unrestricted fund balance stabilization resolution is brought to you because we received a letter about our budget from the Marin County Office of Education asking us for taking steps to get back to board policy 3100.11, which is the fund balance reserve, and it establishes that we need to have a 16.67 ending fund balance in our unrestricted ending fund balance. The details that we laid out in this resolution, steps 1 through 7, do not get us there immediately. It is a long process. We detail that we'll be able to reach that by 2029, 2030. So that's about 4 years out from now. And with this resolution, it also sort of lies some guiding tracks of what we are going to establish in our first interim budget that will be coming to you in the second week of December, or the second meeting of December. And these assumptions will be built into that. And so the Marin County Office of Education is looking for those assumptions or agreement from the board to put those assumptions in so that we can actually have a qualified budget at the end of first interim. So with that, I'll ask for any questions and, of course, approval on this item.
Yeah, just a quick clarification question. On number 3, the district will budget at 95.5% ADA. Against what is normally budgeted, that's a little bit lower, right? What do you typically put into budget for ADA?
What we did budget was 96%. So we went down to 95.5%, which is pretty much what we are normally seeing. This year, we've actually been a little high, which is fantastic. So with all the great work we're doing at our sites, kids are showing up to school. However, 95.5 seems to be around the average to what we're seeing.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I appreciate you explaining to me about MSIA. My question, though, is because I was unfamiliar, is this something that we don't normally do? It felt like it was like a thing that we're doing special. Well, actually, I'm looking at the
when
cover.
you say what are we doing special? What do you mean?
So it says on the cover page, the one-time MSIA dividends over 2 years. So is that something that we normally have? I guess I'm just confused, and it's here as a way that we're fixing this, but is it not something that we normally have access to, or we don't?
It's not something we normally have access to. So MSIA is a JPA, Joint Power Authority, that we're a part of, and we primarily utilize them for our workers' compensation insurance. The workers' compensation insurance is the members of the JPA are all the districts of Marin and Marin County Office of Education. So there's millions and millions of dollars going into this fund every year. That fund has built up because they also then reinvest those funds, and they've done fantastically. So it has left a surplus. With that surplus, I sit on the board for MSIA, and so do basically all the chief business officials for the district. So we voted to start to reduce some of that surplus and give it back to the members
Okay.
of the JPA. We've done $5 million 3 years in a row. And so now we don't get $5 million. It's proportional to how much you utilize the system, aka how much you pay into the system. Sort of like a patronage dividend rather than a profit dividend. And we can't count on that forever. Because the fact is that like we have received in this last dividend, that $5 million, $1.3 million came to Novato Unified School District. We only spend about $800,000 a year on workers' compensation insurance. So once that right sizes, we won't be able to get this anymore.
Okay.
So we've been very lucky. The districts of Marin have been very lucky that we get to take advantage of this, but this is one-time money.
Okay. Well, and I was confused as it sounded like it was just the way that it was presented. So thank you. And then the other thing, actually, I was going to make a statement from our JLAC presentation. Ball and Frost came in and was talking about how the revenues for the state were doing a lot better, except for the fact that they're doing better. We're still not going to have a great year because of all the health and human services expenses and just the shift of how things are going. So, if you hear that we're doing better at the state level, yeah, but there's other priorities I think that are going to be addressed versus putting more money into schools. Having said that, I appreciate all the elements that we have presented, and there's this number 1 on the resolution actually has a timeline, and then number 6 did not. So is that just, it's about another 1.5 million?
Yeah, again, so number 1 is ongoing. So beginning in next year, ongoing, we're reducing $4.5 million. Number 6 is one time. So that one time would be like if we shift expenses and say we're not going to do this thing this year instead of buying XYZ, but it can't be something that we buy never again. So we're just going to.
But is that, I guess, because there was a timeline, is that like projected for like a couple years from now?
Oh, it'd be for next year.
The 1.5 would be next year too?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's not what I wanted to hear, but okay, thank you.
And we behind the scenes, we have the reality of what this actually looks like. It's just that we're not ready to propose that side yet, so it's not written into the document here. I will also share, because you're talking about like JLAC and some of the good news from California. We just got news today on that the CalPERS contributions are going down. So that's also great news.
Additional questions or a motion? This is a roll call vote. Trustee Alexander with a first. Trustee Pickus with a second, sorry. Any other comments or questions? Okay. Trustee Alexander.
Aye.
Trustee Butler's absent. Trustee Gasson.
Aye.
Trustee Jacobson, aye. Trustee Lametta.
Aye.
Trustee Mack.
Aye.
Trustee Pickus.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next up, we have item 13C. This is the approval of the schematic design schedule and cost estimate for the roof repair project at Rancho Elementary School, and approval to utilize a leaseback contract for the roof repair project at the Rancho Elementary School. Thank you for joining us, John.
All right, thank you. So tonight we're going to present the schematic design for the roof repair project at Rancho. We were with you October 28th and presented 4 separate options. Option 4 was selected, which was the beam in the middle of the 19 classrooms and the posts up against the walls. So we'll review some of that project information, the site location, a little bit about the scope of work, review the cost estimate and schedule, and then open it up for questions. So all work will take place at the 19 classrooms presented on the 28th. We'll remove the ceiling finishes down to the framing along the center of the classroom. The beams may not be exactly centered, but there is a little bit of leeway with where they get placed. We'll remove the cabinetry and the flooring and concrete at new structural post locations. We'll have to install some new footings to support those new structural posts. There'll be 2 per classroom. We'll lift the existing roof framing joist and install the new structural structural posts and wood beams. Those are the glulam beams we talked about last week or a couple weeks ago. And then we'll install new flooring. We'll replace the cabinetry at those locations that we removed them, the associated countertops, and get the classrooms put back together. So here is a review of the 19 locations that we're talking about. You can see the ponding on the roofs at each of those locations. This is the most recent Google Earth image that we have on that. And as a reminder, this is what the interior of the classrooms should look like, with the exception of the photo on the left that has the curved ceiling that is just part of the panoramic. But it will be up tight against the ceiling. So the cost estimate, $1,775,000. We've got the construction estimate at $1.2 million plus a design contingency for any changes that need to take place through the DSA review. We'll have a construction contingency of 10% of $123,000. The architect fees and contingencies, as well as a hazmat consultant just to test to make sure that if there is any hazardous materials that they are properly removed and identified. CM fees, the DSA inspector will need, as this is a DSA project. We do have some money in for laboratory testing. There will be special testing and inspections related to the glulam beams themselves, as well as the concrete that gets placed. It's a small bid advertisement fee, DSA fees. We'll do I do have some money in for some moving expenses so that we can relocate some desks and other furniture as necessary, and then some miscellaneous expenses, and that gets us to the $1,775,000. So the schedule, it's a little hard to read. With approval tonight, we'll enter the design phase tomorrow. We'll also start working on the RFP phase, in which we will advertise out for contractors to provide qualifications and a proposal for the project. We'll go through the interviews and get a contractor selected on the, looks like the beginning of January 13th board meeting. And then we'll go ahead, we'll get into that pre-construction where they're going to do a little bit of site reconnaissance, checking out the site and making sure that what we have drawn is actually what can be built. Maybe they'll do a little bit of destructive testing so that they can just verify a few things. Go ahead and try and get submittals done so that we can get the glulam beams ready to be ordered so we can get them on time. And then we'll do construction over the summer. And closeout will take us another month when summer is complete. Any questions?
Thanks for putting that together. We might already be doing this, but one thing this project points out is in the past are not really tracking what we've done, in the history of how we got to where we are today with Rancho. And what I believe we're doing this, but if you could just elaborate on it, the extent to which we are documenting these things going forward, so that 20 years from now, something happens at Rancho, we can go back and say, oh yeah, that's why we put these beams in here, that kind of thing. Is that something we're generally doing with all of our projects going forward? I know we've talked about this in the past.
Yeah, so with all of the projects, at the completion of the projects, as-built drawings are being issued to the district and they're being uploaded to their plan grid site.
Okay.
So when something comes up at a site, they'll be able to search by the site, and then there will be all of the projects. Not all of them will be in there, but at least these newer projects that we've done for this latest measure will be in there.
Yeah, that would have been very helpful to us today if we had that 20 years ago or 30.
Absolutely, and that way you're not relying on DSA to have to find those drawings, and if there's a fire and they don't have them, it becomes a lot more complicated.
Right.
Other questions, comments, or a move for approval? Trustee Pickus with a first. Trustee Mack with a second. And before I call for the vote, I just wanted to thank Acting Principal Mayoral for being here just to be able to answer any questions for us or speak for the Rancho community. Uh-oh. We need you on the microphone, though, for the recording.
For the recording.
Yep. Uh-oh.
The only question that I had was, what is the plan to roll out to meet, like, the school site, let's say myself, or other key people at the site, to sort of help the general community understand the timeline? I think that's really important to give them a heads up, and the staff also know, what's to be expected. I think if we do that, I think we'll be in pretty good shape. So that was my only question.
John is fantastic, but we don't pay him to answer that question. You pay me to answer that question. So the next step is we have to go out and bid it, and once we get our contractor, that comes with timelines. Once we have the timelines and scheduling of how it's going to start, then we can start looking at, okay, what is each step that's needed? We'll communicate out with the teachers and staff for each classroom about what needs to move and where it needs to move, so that they can have participation in that. Along with that, it's, when is the campus going to be closed? When's the campus going to be reopened? What's the expectation and how it's going to look when it's done? All of that we'll have available in, especially because there's such a focus on it. Normally we can do that in like a single write-up, and that's plenty. I feel like this one will probably need a couple of emails to go out, a couple of write-ups, so that everyone can feel confident in the process. But there is sort of a holding pattern between now and when the contractor is selected, because they are going to identify for us some of how that scheduling process step by step works, so that then we can let the teachers know that where their participation in that is, so that they know how to move their things. The other part too that John didn't speak about is We put a contingency in for lights as well. So we talked about furniture, but it's also lights. So there's going to be a beam right down the middle. And we put in enough to be able to move every light if needed. That's not what we're going to need, but John does a fantastic job of budgeting at the very conservative level so that we never run over budget. But that'll allow us to rewire and move the ceiling lights so that it doesn't cast a shadow anywhere in the classroom. So we've also taken that into account with there now being a beam running down the center of the classroom.
Love that. Thank you. Unless further discussion, we have a first and second. So all in favor of this item, 6 plus our 2 student trustees. Thank you. And our next item is 13D. This is the approval of the schematic design, schedule, and cost estimate for the HVAC and fire alarm upgrade project at Novato High School, and approval to utilize a lease-back contract for the HVAC and fire alarm upgrades project at Novato High.
All right, thank you. And I've already turned to the project schedule page so I can read it a little better this time. But yeah, so we're looking for approval on the schematic design for the HVAC and fire alarm at Novato High School. We'll follow the same procedure where we review the just a little bit of information about the project and identify which locations we're working on, kind of go over that scope of work, present the cost estimate and the schedule, and then questions. So currently all locations have HVAC with the exception of the new, of buildings 1000, which is the library, building 2700, which is, I believe, a staff room, and classrooms 2801 and 2802. So this project will add heat and cooling to those buildings. The reason why they were not part of the original project, if you recall, was because we didn't have the electrical infrastructure to support the new electrical HVAC units. So now that we do, we can go ahead and include that as part of this project. The existing fire alarm at the campus is comprised of 2 different systems. The old system is a Faraday system, which parts are no longer, they're very hard to find at this point, and it's a dilapidated system. The 2 newer buildings have a newer system, but now we have 2 separate systems amongst the entire site. So there's been some fire alarm issues that have been reported for the last several years, and so this project will add the new fire alarm system throughout the campus to match what is at the Center for the Sciences and Center for the Arts. So this shows the library up at the upper left-hand corner that we're talking about. That's going to get the HVAC, as well as building 2700 there in the middle, and then 2801 and 2802. Cost estimate for this project is $3,995,000. Construction estimate was $2,900,000. We've put in for a design contingency and construction contingency. Included architect fees at about $250,000, along with a contingency for any changes associated. CM fees, as well as a DSA inspector. This will be a DSA project. DSA fees, we are doing a CEQA since this is extra work. Got some legal fees in there, and then some miscellaneous expenses. And so that gets us to the $3,995,000. All right, schedule-wise, with approval tonight, we'll go ahead and proceed into the design development and construction document phase. We'll go ahead and also get going with advertising for an RFPQ for a contractor selection. We'll bring that back to you in January for approval, and then start that pre-construction phase. Construction would be summer of 2026. And then at the completion of summer, we would go ahead and we would proceed into the closeout document phase. Are there any questions?
The fire alarm issue, yeah, It makes me wonder if we might have something similar going at San Marin with the new buildings there. Is there any disparity in systems there as well?
I'd have to double check. I think
Just
those
curious.
are the same system. I think it's all one system, but
Okay.
you do have the newer buildings that have a newer system, and so you may have some issues with the exterior. I haven't heard of any issues though.
With the HVAC equipment, I see you have it on here for lead time. Are there any delays with that type of equipment and things now? Are we going to get it in plenty of time, or?
Lead times have gotten better, and so that's the first thing we're going to do. As soon as I get a set of drawings that have the complete design, which I'm expecting next week, we can go ahead and get those out to Sigler's, who is the distributor for the carrier units that the district uses. They'll go ahead and put some pricing together for that, and so we can come back with getting that approved as part of a CMAS.
Okay, if I see no further questions, would anyone like to make a motion to approve this item? Trustee Mack, thank you. And a second. Trustee Pickus. All in favor? 6 plus 2 student trustees, thank you so much. Next item is 13E. This is the approval of resolution number 9, 2025-2026, approving Ridgeview Builders as the best value contractor and award of leaseback agreement to Ridgeview Builders for the food and nutrition service kitchen improvement project at Lucetton Elementary School, Olive Elementary School, Rancho Elementary School, and San Ramon Elementary Schools.
Thank you. So once we obtained approval on the budget and schedule from you, we went ahead and we advertised out for proposals and qualifications for contractors. We ended up shortlisting and going through an interview phase. We had 8 contractors respond, and we interviewed 3 contractors. Ridgeview Builders was determined to be the best value contractor, and so tonight we're asking for approval to enter into a contract with Ridgeview Builders.
Any questions or comments on this item? This is a roll call vote. Nope. Okay, we need a first and second. Trustee Gasson. Trustee Pickus with the second. Trustee Alexander.
Aye.
Trustee Butler is absent. Trustee Gasson.
Aye.
Trustee Jacobson, aye. Trustee Lametta.
Aye.
Trustee Mack.
Aye.
Trustee Pickus.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please join us for our next regularly scheduled meeting on December 2nd. We would like to remind you that we are closing the meeting tonight in memory of Alan Harris, past trustee, and in his honor. Thank you.